Hello to all. You've queued up Short Takes, which is the Alabama Takes brief talk show online. I'm still the host. I'm Blaine Duncan. I'm the editor-in-chief at the Alabama Take. And in a little bit, we're going to get into 4 questions with a special guest. That 4th question's always the done-up real good question. But let's not waste any time. We will... because it's such a pleasure to have this guy. I've known this gentleman for a while. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he is an excellent Alabama artist. You know him from the Pine Hill Haints. Mr. Jamie Barrier's with us. How you doing, dude?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
I'm going to let folks know that you are actually taking time out from your vacation to join me, and that's very sweet of you. I'm happy to have you. Your fans know this, but just in case people don't, just in case they're lost in the wilderness, they need to be turned on to the Pine Hill Haints. Excellent band. Most recent work was the song Companion of a Lone Star Cowboy, and that was released this year, I'm guessing a couple months ago.
Yeah, maybe a month ago.
Awesome. I've been listening to it quite a lot, and I really, really enjoy it. It's got good energy, really good energy.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and ask a real quick question about it. I bet you cut those tracks live, didn't you?
100%.
I can tell it. Oh, man, I'm so proud of myself for being able to tell that. And it sounds so good that way.
Right.
And you've worked with Lynn Bridges before, right?
Oh, he's the master. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We were going to get him on this one, but we couldn't find him at the moment. But Lynn's the best.
Lynn's a master. He's so quirky and so fun.
Yeah.
And I bet you have a closer relationship to him than I, but I used to bump into him in Tuscaloosa. He recorded our first album back when I played a little music. And,
Wow.
Lots of fun.
Oh, yeah. He's probably recorded 80 or 90% of everything I've done, man.
That does make sense. And with you guys cutting it live, I know Lynn likes to work that way, so that's a perfect fit. So, and last year you released the album 13.
That's right.
Is that a 13 Ghost, Alabama Ghost reference?
I wish.
Okay.
You know what? It's either our 13th album, but if you want to get technical, it's probably our 14th album. So
Okay.
it lies somewhere in that realm, the meaning behind it and the vibe. So, yeah.
Interesting. I like that. The number 13 is interesting to me, kind of in a way.
Yeah.
So, is that you doing the artwork for the Lone Star Cowboy?
My wife Katie, she did the art for both of those, 13 and the Cowboy. So
I was going to compliment it, so send my compliments to her. That's really cool artwork.
I totally will, man.
That's worthy to put on a wall. I like it.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
Today, the day that we record, this will come out a little later, but I just saw news of the Pine Hill Haints being a part of the October 3rd night of Shoals Fest.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about it as well, man.
You have any more show dates that are coming between now and then?
We have a lot of dates coming up. We're doing Muddy Roots. It's on up in Tennessee between Nashville and Knoxville. We're doing a tour to the Los Angeles and back in July. We're playing in Birmingham in late July as well. So we have a lot of dates coming up, man.
And
A lot of cooking.
people can find those dates at pinehillhaints.com.
They need to. As soon as we put them up there, yes.
Well, I think by the time we have our show out, this show Short Takes, I bet you guys will have those up. And you guys are on Instagram as well. So.
Yeah. Usually as they draw closer, we fire them out on Instagram and Facebook. So, yeah.
I'll put those links in the show notes as well as I'll put them on the screen. That's what we tend to do. So,
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite city to play? You talking about going out west and playing all these places?
It changes, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just currently, I love to play. My favorite the last few years is probably Bisbee, Arizona.
Interesting. What
I
about
love-
Bisbee?
Oh, man, I don't know. It's hard to describe it, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the best thing ever. You're outside in this beautiful ancient town on the Mexico border, and
Okay.
the vibe is good, and there's like springs coming out of this canyon, so it's this real cool old adobe town. And
Man.
I have a lot of favorites, man. I love to perform live, so I got a lot of this is my favorite, you know.
Uh-huh. And cities and towns are like humans. They'll change 2 years and it'll be a totally different place.
Yep, it will.
You've
Yeah.
got me wanting to go out west. Do you need a merch guy?
Yeah, man. Grab a skateboard, hop in the van, man.
Let's do it. Yeah, we're going to dive into our four questions.
All right.
But people stay on top of the Pine Hill Haints. They're coming your way. Okay. But our first question one. It's a joke now. I think that there's a before and after moment for people, but we kind of do have those, or we have a lot of those, in my opinion. I think everyone has more than one or two. But what's a point in your life that dictated a big enough change that could say, here's a before Jamie and here's an after?
Well, yeah, like you said, there's a million,
Right.
and it's the slow burners that end up having the deepest cuts. But I guess when I got my first guitar, I was a kid, and my grandpa gave me a guitar. That's a definite,
Yeah.
That's right there with the day I got my driver's license. There's a definite life before and after getting my driver's license. So.
Uh-huh. Hey, so how old were you with the guitar?
I honestly don't know. I think it was 12.
No, that's a good age. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 12.
Were you like a lot of us Southern dudes who had a pretty close connection to your grandfather?
I was.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
special thing.
Yep.
Right? A young, and it's probably true in the North, but a young Alabama guy, young Southern guy, and his grandfather, that's a deep thing.
Yeah, I had been told I was dying to play guitar, and I was told you will never play guitar, and I believed it. It was like that for about a year, and then boom, he gave me this. To this day, no one knows what it is. It was his brother's, and his brother died in the Korean War, and so it's this beautiful hollow body, black and brown F-hold. It's the coolest. I loved it because it looked like something Izzy Stradlin from Guns N' Roses played. It looked just like a guitar Izzy played. I loved it. It was acoustic guitar, but
Uh-huh. Tell me you still have it, right?
oh yeah.
Awesome. That is,
I've got.
wow, that's kind of touching, dude. Why did they tell you you wouldn't play guitar? What was that about?
I don't know, man. I was probably in a lot of trouble, and
Okay.
it was a good way to keep me in line, I guess.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good. I don't. Yeah, yeah,
That's a good segue to my next question. So here's question two.
yeah.
Why do you think people create art?
Yeah, that was a question. Like I don't know how to answer it. Probably out of love, man. Somewhere between love and stoke, art is produced. That's what I would say. Even out of a state of depression, there's this love element. That would be my theory, man.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know.
Be a good question to talk with your wife, it sounds like, right?
Oh yeah, man. It would.
Well, so did your music keep you out of trouble once you started playing?
I hope so, man. Definitely gave me a good outlet,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know if it kept me out of trouble. Who knows, man? If I never played music, maybe I'd be a chemical engineer right now. It might have kept me down. Being a musician for a living, like, especially if you're not I don't know what it's like to be successful, but most of those guys I meet are pretty miserable.
Mm-hmm.
You owe everybody a favor, and like it's so vulnerable. It's like it's a tough thing if you try to put your music first. You can never you can tell somebody to get lost and slam the door in their face, but in music you gotta always just take it on the chin, and like I don't know, it makes you vulnerable for a lot of things, and people take advantage of you for it when you know I don't know. I do it for the love.
Yeah.
You can throw a rock at me. I'm up there. It's easy to get hit.
Uh-huh. And my recollection of playing, it was you owe everyone a favor, and you just can't get around to repaying them.
No, you can't. And you get ripped off all the time, and you're like, you said you're gonna give me 200, and you gave me 100, and they're like, well, get lost. This guy over here said he'll do it for 50. So. Yeah, you know how it is.
I do. I remember those days, man. Yeah. So let's question three is your band makes direct allusions to Ghost. Pine Hill Haints is one of the best band names ever.
Yeah, thank you.
So my third question is, what do you think happens to us after we die?
I think nobody knows, but I believe in like heaven and hell and Judgment Day, but I think the soul lives on, but who knows, man?
All right, do you believe in ghosts?
I do,
Uh huh.
I do, but again, that's another. I can't articulate on it very much.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say, and it could be your. All I know is if you sum up everything we know as the human race, like look at how far advanced we've come since like 1985. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so look 1585. How far we've come, and look at the year 505. So yeah, I believe in ghosts. Who knows, man? I don't think that we're like at the top of some level of knowledge right now, and I think there's a lot in the supernatural world that's like just as strong, and the mystery of life and death. Like, I don't think we're anywhere near like the start of what's actually going on. So, but yeah, I do believe in it, man.
Can I ask your age?
Oh, yeah, 45.
Okay, so I'm 44. So you're
Yeah.
talking about 1985. We've seen a lot, man,
Oh yeah.
in a short time. I realize our parents and grandparents saw a lot more, but I feel like time is just so much is happening and being rushed.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's lighten the mood a little. Our fourth and final question is the saying we have, which is what's done up real good. So you have anything that you can cite as tickling your fancy, making you happy, done up real good?
Uh, yeah, I would say a good done up real good is like my van.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I love the culture of touring in a van, man. And right now, I've got a beautiful bed in there with a nice sleeping bag and a bunch of pillows. And below it, I have like probably 1,000 vinyl records, different releases. I have a little record label,
Yeah.
and then like hundreds of T-shirts. I have all my shirts in there and all my records and packing tape and boxes. I've got a surfboard in there and 3 skateboards and 3 skimboards, Santa Cruz. Got a ton of reggae in the front and classic country music. So my van is done up at the moment. The oil's been changed. I love it. Yeah,
Good,
that,
man.
yeah. I've got it all stocked and ready for adventure. I've got a couple of fiddles in there and a mandolin and 2 guitars and a Fender Twin. So my van is done up at the moment.
I hear you, dude.
New tires on it, so it's ready to roll, man.
Looking, it's ready to hit the west, right?
Yes, it's ready, man.
So that fiddle playing on the newest album, especially
Yeah,
throughout your album, is so good. It's so good.
right.
I
Thank
hear
you.
a lot of people will put a fiddle on an album just to say they have a fiddle on an album, but that's not what's going on in these songs at all.
I'm real weird with I'm real opinionated and like about the fiddle. I get real bent out of shape, and next thing you know, I realize I'm shouting my head off about it. But most fiddle players won't even count me as one, and they're right. I don't really know how to play it, but I have my own way of doing it, and I love the fiddle. And it's probably my favorite instrument, and also 90% of fiddle music I can't stand. Like I wish people played it a certain way, and they don't, and so that's why I started playing, and whatever that means, man. I love Cajun fiddling.
Yes.
I love Cajun. I love old time fiddle playing, and I love a lot of Irish. There's a lot of stuff, folk music, fiddle. I love, so that's what I'm trying to do, man.
Like Fiddle and John Carson. Is
Oh
that the
yeah,
name?
I love fiddling, John. Yeah,
Yeah. Me
big time.
too, dude. I think when you get back into some of that really old stuff, early 1900s, 1930s, 40s, I bet you and I would jam a lot of the same records.
I bet where you're at, just north of you, that's ground zero for Bama fiddling. We do some Striplin brothers. There was a family called the Striplin brothers, and we do several of their tunes, man. So
Oh, that's so awesome.
yeah,
I'll look into that. I'm not as familiar with them, I don't think. The name sounds familiar. I'm going to look into that.
those guys would saw the bridge down with a file, so they could hit 3 strings at once. Nothing. That's a thing that's native only to that part of Alabama. The Snake Handling Sand Mountain region.
Yes.
That's native to that. I love that, man. I love groany low string fiddle, man.
Yes, me too.
That's
Wow.
it's big from your neck of the woods, I would say, man. That's where I learned it from.
And it does have that haunted sound
It is,
to it.
it is haunted, man.
Good stuff, dude. Man, it's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I want to make sure our viewers, I'm going to remind them, you can, on Instagram, Jamie and the Pine Hill Haints will put up shows
yeah.
much closer to the date, so you can stay on top of those. Visit Single Lock Records, which they've made some records with Single Lock lately. And if you need a starting point, I think the new album, I would say Fall Asleep. And I
Yeah.
would say, man, I'm going to keep Jamie on just for a couple minutes because I wanted to mention that your version of John Henry, that song, I guess everybody's got a version of that song.
Yeah.
Yours is one of the best, dude. It's up there.
If you like that version, I got a man named Sid Hemphill, and he was the coolest man. He was like a son of a slave. And he was half Cherokee Indian, I think, or half Choctaw, and his granddaughter, was a great hill country style blues singer, Jessie Mae Hemphill, and that's where I learned his version. It's only across the river from where we live in the top corner of the state, but you cross into Mississippi and they have what's hill country blues.
Yes, sir.
They have fife and drum, that's a fife and drum version of John Henry that was big over there. And it almost like it has some sort of a dark slave origin, It's like it's a weird, harder version of John Henry, and I appreciate you pointing that out, man.
Well,
yeah.
There's probably 60 interpretations. I mean, I bet there are thousands of.
I've been playing my whole life since I was a kid. Yeah.
There are thousands of versions of that song, but there's probably like 60 ways to interpret it, and
Right.
I was not familiar with that. See, you're bringing a lot of stuff to the table, dude.
I learned that one off of Sid Hemphill. Is where I got it. So
Cool.
he's probably to me the father of American music. He's just an unknown. Played a fretless homemade banjo. Played the fiddle. Played the quills.
Mm-hmm.
The cane fife. Played the drums. He was a master.
Can you find his stuff online?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. It's kind of like Lead Belly. You could argue Lead Belly is the father of American music. Well, I put Lead Belly's down on that coast. Well, Sid was up in the north, closer to us.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a cannonball of music. That Fall Asleep, when you mentioned that, that was going to be my answer to your life and death question. That's what that song's about. And that song's about train jumping. And the original Haints, when we first started, were three of them train jumpers. I never did. And some of those guys, one of them went on to live riding the rails and sleeping in ditches for a decade probably. But that song's all dealing with that. And there's a line in there about they say when you're catching the westbound, that means you're taking your last ride. That means you're.
Okay.
That was catching the westbound is a term for dying, and that's one. That song is a conversation between one hobo to another, like, might your last ride be true, and I hope we meet again. We'll feast on chili con carne and white beans and tortilla, who knows, man.
And the chili con carne would have been a real treat for them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Our interview show here is relatively short. Let's just have you back, and we'll talk it up some more. How's that sound?
You got it, man.
Next time you got an album coming out, you holler at me, and we want to sit and talk some more. I love your stuff, dude. Everyone, check out the Pine Hill Haints.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll put everything in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, just look below. Jamie, thanks for your time and enjoy your vacation.
Thank you, man. Take care.
See ya.
Will went walking and was blown away. Found his finger by my mama's grave.